All right, let's talk about IELTS Writing Task 1. You know, that part of the exam that can feel a little daunting. Whether you're staring down a complex bar chart for the academic test or figuring out how to write a letter for general training, you've come to the right place. We're going to break it all down. Let's jump right in. 20 minutes, 150 words. That's the challenge, right? It sounds so simple, but when that clock is ticking, the pressure is on. If you've ever felt that, trust me, you are not alone. Our goal here is to turn that pressure into a solid, confident plan you can use every single time. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the ground rules that apply to everybody. Then we'll split off and look at the two different paths, the academic task and the general task. After that, I'm going to share a little secret weapon that is an absolute game changer for both. And we'll wrap it all up with a simple three-step process to bring it all together. Okay, first things first. Before we get into the specifics of charts or letters, there are some non-negotiables. These are the fundamental rules of the game. If you get these right, you're already building a really strong foundation for a great score.
Rule number 1, the clock. You should only spend about 20 minutes on this task. Why? Because task 2 is worth more to your final score. So this isn't just a suggestion, it's a strategy. You have to be disciplined. Being super efficient here is absolutely key.
And next, the word count. You have to, and I mean have to, write at least 150 words. If you write 149, you will lose marks. It's a hard and fast rule. Now, there's no penalty for going over, but remember that 20-minute clock. The sweet spot is usually somewhere around 160 to 180 words. That's enough to get the job done well without rushing.
So, how are you actually marked? Well, think of it like a pie cut into 4 equal slices. Each one is worth exactly 25% of your score. You've got task achievement, which is, did you do what the question asked? Coherence and cohesion, which is all about your structure. Lexical resource, that's your vocabulary. And finally, grammatical range and accuracy. The big takeaway here? They're all equally important. You can't just have great grammar and ignore the rest.
Okay, let's head down our first path, the academic test. For this one, you need to put on your data detective hat. You're going to get a piece of visual information, a graph, a chart, maybe a table, and your job is to report what you see. Your mission is simple. Be a reporter, not a commentator. Your job is to describe the main trends and make comparisons. But, and this is a big one, you absolutely cannot give your opinion. Don't try to guess why the numbers went up, just state that they went up. Stick to the facts. Objectivity is everything.
The best way to stay organized and on track is with a clear 4-paragraph structure. It works every time. Your intro just rewrites the question in your own words. The overview, this is super important, gives the big picture summary. What's the main story of the graph? Then, your 2 body paragraphs zoom in on the details, giving the specific data that proves your overview is correct.
Let's look at a quick example. For this chart, what's the big picture? Well, it's pretty clear that travel by car went way up, while walking dropped a lot. That's your overview. Then, in your body paragraphs, you'd give the specific numbers, right? You'd mention that walking fell from over 12 million to 6 million, while car trips shot up from around 4 million to 11 million. See? Easy. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the second path, the general training task. If the academic task is about being a data detective, this one is all about being a master communicator. Your job is to write a letter. So for this task, your mission is to respond to a pretty normal everyday situation. They'll give you a scenario and, crucially, 3 bullet points. You must cover all 3 of them in your letter. Seriously, if you miss even one, you're going to lose marks. The goal is just clear communication in the right tone. And speaking of tone, that's really the key here. You might have to write a formal letter complaining to a company, or maybe a semi-formal one to a neighbor, or just a really informal, friendly one to a friend. The situation tells you what style to use, and your language needs to match it. You know, one of the easiest ways to get this right and score some quick points is by nailing the opening and closing. This is such low-hanging fruit. For a formal letter to someone you don't know, it's Dear Sir or Madam, and yours faithfully. For a friend, Dear John, and best regards. Getting that right from the very start just shows the examiner you know what you're doing. Okay, now it's time to talk about a secret weapon. This is a skill that applies to both the academic and the general tests. Mastering this is the key to a strong start and will seriously elevate your score. I'm talking about paraphrasing. So what exactly is it? It's simple, really. It's just saying the same thing in a different way. You use different words, a different sentence structure, but the meaning stays exactly the same. And why does this matter so much?
because it's the best way to immediately show off your range of vocabulary and grammar.
The most common way to do this is with synonyms, just swapping out words. So violent crime could become violent offenses, and teenagers becomes adolescents. But a little word of warning here. Only use synonyms that you are 100% sure about. Using the wrong word can totally change the meaning.
Another really powerful technique is to just change the word order. A lot of sentences have two parts or clauses, and you can often just flip them. Look at this example. The meaning is identical, but the grammatical structure is totally different. This is a great way to show some flexibility.
And a third way is to change the form of a word. Here, the verb live is changed to the gerund living. It's a slightly more advanced move, but it's another fantastic way to showcase your grammar skills without changing the core message at all.
So we have the rules, we understand the two different tasks, and we have our secret weapon. Now, let's put all of that together into a simple winning process that you can use to nail those 20 minutes on test day. Now, this might sound crazy, but the biggest mistake you can make is to just start writing immediately. Don't do it. Instead, break your 20 minutes into 3 stages. Spend the first 3 to 4 minutes just thinking and planning. Then, take about 13 to 15 minutes for the actual writing, and always leave 2 to 3 minutes at the end for checking your work. That planning time isn't wasted. It's an investment.
So, during that crucial thinking stage, what are you doing? Well, first, you're actually reading the question carefully. For the academic test, you're spotting the main trends. For the general test, you're identifying those 3 bullet points. Then, you just quickly map out your paragraphs. This little plan is your roadmap.
And in those final few minutes, you become your own editor. This is your chance to catch those small mistakes that can cost you easy marks. You're scanning for spelling errors, checking for grammar mistakes, and doing a quick check to make absolutely certain you're over that 150-word line. It's that final polish that can make all the difference.
And there you have it. The rules, the paths, and a process for success. You have the entire framework now, but the skill, well, that only comes with practice. So now that you have the strategy, the only real question is, what are you going to practice first?